Hi, my name is Catherine. My life has its own story, as I'm sure yours does too. I was born in South Africa, had a loving mother and father, and one brother. As a young child, I listened to the stories told in Sunday school of missionaries that ventured into unreached people groups. It sparked such a desire in me to be a missionary too. When I finished my schooling and university, I worked in the corporate world for a season before my church sent me into the mission field with mercy ships. Later, I joined African Inland Mission and served in the low-pit mountains of South Sudan with a team of missionaries from nations around the world. I lived in a mud house in the village and spent many months learning the language and the culture and just how they lived. It was in this time in South Sudan that I met Martin. We served in our team together. We were engaged and had a beautiful small wedding in Germany. This was where Martin was from. 2 weeks later, he died in my arms from cancer. It was a very hard season of my life, and I can relate to the Book of Ruth in so many ways. At times, I felt like Naomi, that had been forsaken and all was lost. But then I also felt like Ruth, filled with hope. Martin's friends, family, church, and mission organization in Germany became my people, and they helped me, together with my church in South Africa, to return to South Sudan to continue the work of planting a church. This is a church that Martin had planted. On my return to the low-pit mountains, the people came to pay respects to me as a widow of Martin. I had no concept of what it was like to be a widow in a tribal village. The women asked me if Martin had a brother that could marry me and continue the family line. I explained to them that it didn't work like that in our culture. It was different to theirs. And that God, I hoped, would one day provide me with a husband. This was my hope and prayer. As you continue with me through the story of Ruth, I will share more of my story and how God provided. It was within the low-pit mountains and the village and the culture that I came to understand what Ruth must have gone through. The Book of Ruth was written by Samuel in the days when the judges ruled. It is a book that has three main characters: Naomi, a widow; Ruth, the Moabite, who was also a widow; and Boaz, the Israelite farmer. I would like to suggest a fourth character that is not mentioned, but whose history and influence in the life of Boaz is significant. His mother, Rahab. I believe she played a significant role in how he reacted with respect, with generosity and loyalty towards Ruth.